Hey everyone. On today's episode, we will be chatting with both Marnellie and Allie on why they became doulas. Welcome to the Doula Debrief Podcast by Community Doula Alliance, a Black woman-led nonprofit organization in Portland, Oregon. Hosted by childbirth educator, doula, and Community Doula Alliance board member Marnellie Bishop, alongside Allie Buchanan, full spectrum doula and mental health advocate.
The Doula Debrief keeps it real with personal accounts, hot button issues, backed by research and evidence in order to educate the community. We offer you a safe space, strategies, resources, and fuel to empower and advocate for the future of maternal health.
Welcome. Hey, Allie.
Hey, girl. Hey. What's up, boo?
Yeah, so today we're talking about why we became doulas.
Our why.
Our why. What is your why?
Our driver.
So, Allie, you know, you're a mother of two.
You
You're
too.
a doula of many.
Yes.
Why did you choose this work?
Ugh. It chose me, man. Like, it chose me. Like, my experience after my first was just floor rocking. Like, I did not expect, and why I started out as in postpartum, because my postpartum was rough, going through postpartum depression. And then my second, I had perinatal anxiety. So like, it started there. And I just knew I didn't want anybody else to feel alone. I didn't want anybody else to go through that dark place and not feel like they didn't have support, and that they couldn't get help. I didn't want that for anybody else. That's a dark place to go. That's a very not good place. And so I was like, I need to do this work. I need to help others, and like let them know, just, it's okay. You're not alone. That's where I started.
I feel like where you ended up at why you wanting to do this for people is where it started for me. I was fortunate enough to have pretty positive birth experiences because I don't know, for the majority of other doulas that I know that have had children, they came into doula work because they had a traumatic birth experience. Thankfully, that wasn't the case for me. And then my friends went on to have children and had something less than. And that was not okay with me. I had a preterm birth for my daughter because I got sick with preeclampsia. And all of a sudden, this world opened up to me of home health nurses, specialty care, really for the benefit of my child, but I received like all of the wisdom from all of those different providers. And then when other friends started having children and they didn't have that, I said, that's a no. That's a hard no. That why doesn't everybody have access to this? Or why doesn't everybody know these things? So that's why I arrived, or that's how I arrived into doula work.
Yeah.
Because I really want people to know this information, and I really want expectant families to come into parenting and come into their pregnancy, come into their birth experience and into parenting, being confident in what they want and not have to fit a specific mold.
Right. And like, I think that's it's very similar. And like I said, I think that's why we totally hit it off when we first met. Is the same. Like, I had my ideal birth. I educated myself on all of the interventions. Like, I knew I wanted, unmedicated, and I got that. No complications, totally low risk. Like, everything was how I wanted it to be. And then what stopped was my preparation for the after, for the fourth trimester. And I found myself checking in on my friends after they had children, or hearing and I think long term, when I started researching doula, right, and like training and like, what does that mean and how is that going to work, I found like long-term game, yes, I'm going to get certified in the birth side. But I know right now I can do the postpartum side. Like, that's going to be my bread and butter, and it's my jam. But I love it, just because like it's so multi-layered in the support aspect of what a doula is. Looking at mental health issues, looking at what our bodies can do, how we can bounce back or not. Because we go back to kind of like the societal issues that go back where, after 6 weeks, right, what do? We get a thumbs up to say you can have sex and you can work out. Mm-hmm. Is that it? Is that all we have to do? Is that who we are?
No. I get so angry. I get so angry.
Right? Like, it's not okay.
When I hear that, okay, so I'm about to go to my 8-week postpartum visit. I go, great. How do you feel? What? How do I feel? Yeah, how do you feel? Because I named those two things specifically. At this visit, you are going to be cleared to have sex and cleared to start exercising. Outside of those things, how do you feel? Right. Do you feel ready for those things? Do you feel that you've made a good transition into parenting? And often than not, it's like, no. Nobody's been asking me how I feel. And aside from you, dear doula, has anybody been asking me how I feel? And I think that that's where a lot of the like unbreaking goes, like breaking of the norm or breaking of this mold that newly postpartum parents have to fall into
all the time.
And then to go to these beautifully curated social media, platforms, or, reading all of these magazines or blog posts, whatever, saying that this is what you need to be doing, as if to say they're not doing enough.
Or I have to have a crib that costs $800 and a stroller that costs $700. Like, what? No, like, you don't need that to love your baby, to raise your baby, to be a parent. You do not need those things, but we have to break that down into why do we feel that, why do we have that image in our mind of like, that means you are a good mom or a good parent. It brought up a lot of those things for me.
Yeah, I think and it seems like the way that we both would doula the families we support is really asking those why questions more often than we say, do this, do that. No, why is that important to you? So why is feeding your baby with your body important to you? Is it how do you feel? Like, especially if you have a baby that, drops weight, that significant percentage, your beyond 7%, and now you're being told that you need to supplement, and you're told you're needing to be doing all of these things to increase your milk supply. First things first in your brain, you're like, I'm not doing enough. So at the same time, I've heard all of these bad things about formula. Okay, why? Let's unpack this. And so I think one recent conversation I had with a client was specifically that. My baby's weight has dropped. Now I'm being told I need to supplement with formula. Does this mean I'm stopping my breastfeeding journey or this journey? And I said, no. What this means is we need to help your baby catch up. It's not anything that you've done wrong. It's not anything that is wrong with your body. It's this dance, this conversation that your baby is having with you on what they need to thrive and to grow. And if it means you're now triple feeding, breastfeeding, pumping, bottle feeding, and then supplementing that, whatever that looks like, it means for a time, for a short amount of time, you're going to help your baby get to the point where the conversation of supplementation is no longer necessary, and you can begin to tip the scale of bottles versus breast, or bottles versus, bottles with formula or bottles with breast milk. You're changing the ratios of things. And I think for families, when they hear it that way, it makes it more doable.
Yeah.
It's not an all or nothing. It's a work towards something, and you can be flexible in how you do that. Or how does it work best for you?
Yeah. So why did you start out, Marnellie, as like full on birth? Like I went full on into birth. Or did you tinker? Like I tinker, I started out postpartum and then went into birth.
I would say I originally, but then it turned into an originally.
I like it. It's like my religion
word. So initially I was going to be a postpartum doula, because what I liked about that was I had 2 young children. I liked that you could schedule those things out. But what I found myself doing was which is important, is to be accommodating to the postpartum family. So if they want a postpartum visit at 5 a.m., like I was going to do a postpartum visit at 5 a.m. and I had to really connect with myself and be like, is that really what you want to be doing? Maybe you should switch it and say, well, let's make it an overnight, really maximizing the benefit of that support. But it quickly shifted to birth, because what I found was I enjoy the education part of it.
Yeah.
And then that's when I started adding on becoming a childbirth educator.
I love that, because like
I went backwards.
Yeah. And
baby here? No, we got to prepare for the baby.
Well, COVID clearly thrust me into just going forward with my birth certification and all that. But really what I was finding over the years with my postpartum clients was things started early, in pregnancy and birth. Like there was a root cause of that. And I was like, okay, like I need to maybe do this sooner. And then COVID happened and everything went virtual, and it was like, haha, the moment, it has come. And I rode that wave for sure. Like that, and because I have 2 small children, right? About to be 6 and 3. So having to do anything in person was hard. And anybody can attest to that when you have little babies. But yeah, like once everything went virtual, it was doable, manageable, and I was like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
And I went full spectrum though. I was like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna go full out.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
I don't care. You can.
I'm gonna go full ass. I'm not gonna half ass it.
Yeah. Full moon.
Full moon.
There you go. Full moon, not half moon.
Okay.
But I don't. Ass is a real word.
It is. Okay.
As a birth doula, you see a lot of it. So
all kinds of it.
All kinds of it. I appreciate that, what you said about, talking about things. I'm a big proponent of early and often.
Right.
So in every prenatal visit, I try to talk about, well, what's your postpartum plan? Like, how are you, if you have feeding goals, how are you going to get, what support do you have for those feeding goals? One of the big things for you is to make sure that you as a postpartum parent are being well nourished. Who's going to do that? Huh? Wait, I thought we were just talking about childbirth education. Yeah. This is part of it.
Right.
Because if you don't know how you're going to be fed afterwards, how are you going to feed the rest?
Somebody else.
Yes.
A tiny person.
Yeah. So that's the why.
Yeah.
We have similar whys.
We do. And the journey with it too. Because like you said, I know I've read a lot of bios of other doulas, and it's like, I had a traumatic birth, and that's usually the impetus of going into it. So not all births are traumatic, right?
Not all births are traumatic.
But there are things that can still be layered in that you don't realize until after birth.
Yeah.
Of like, oh yeah, that's a generational trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I was raised with this mindset or raised without this mindset?
Mm-hmm.
How does that look like with your partner?
Mm-hmm.
Are you traditionally, are there going to be traditional roles?
Mm-hmm.
Is there non-traditional roles where, is the...
See, even the word traditional is...
Say it. Say it, Marnellie, say it.
Is whiteness.
Okay.
You think about...
Is it though? Because culturally, right? Puerto Rican...
Traditional. Yeah.
So you had... No. On the island,
mm-hmm.
the men went off.
Sure.
The wife stayed home.
Right. But what I'm saying is, for example, people think that traditional birth is OB care.
Oh, like in the hospital. You mean
mm-hmm.
like stirrups.
Right.
But
sterile. Traditionally,
yeah,
it's midwifery care.
Mm-hmm.
For all of babies being born, it's been midwifery care.
Yeah.
Or even traditional white American culture is father outside of the home being the breadwinner and mother inside the home doing all of the things. Where you look at other families and traditions, it's a matriarchal society. Filipino tradition, matriarchal. Mom is the ruler of all. You want to come to my house?
I do. I'm going to be Filipino for a day.
And just seeing that, so much of, I would say more traditional is how much the cultural, the life, all of that is actually focused on the main caregiver, whether it be mother, identifying mother.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I have so many things.
That's good. I like it. Oh, I keep hitting this.
I know.
No. And that's, I think that's why, rooted in my postpartum care, I'm very culturally aware of those things. Mm-hmm. That, if I'm coming into a space and I see that the, again, traditional father, male, role is not present, then I kind of take note of that, and I focus more where it needs to be, which is the support of the birthing person.
Yeah. So then your term of traditional is more focused on traditions of that family particular.
The roles,
the
culture.
Yeah, not societal. Where that is influenced.
It's influenced.
It is definitely influenced, and it has to be a conversation that comes into play. But then it's, what is your nuclear family's traditional history and evolution into your own?
Absolutely. And like in my current realm, I'm also working on that within myself with like decolonializing the mindset of saying like ancestrally, are there other cultures that have different roles and communities and setup and like, different ways to heal yourself, different ways to provide support, and breaking that down. What does that look like? And I think when you go, when I go into my postpartum client's house, like the first thing I do is check in. How are you doing?
How are you? That's a big thing.
How are you? Are you okay? Did you sleep? What do we need today? Do you need a shower? Like I can tell when, like right now, my hair is all up in a bun. I mean, I took a shower this morning, but like,
you didn't straighten it.
I didn't. I did curly because I knew I had like certain things I needed to do this morning. So it's up in a bun. Got to get going. And when I come in, it's like, we know those things and you see it and you check in and you say, okay, I'll get baby. Go take a shower.
Yeah.
Go do you.
You do you, boo.
Yes. But yeah. It's all good things. What else?
Why that's a big, those were good whys.
Yeah.
And good answers to whys. So
heavy.
So thank you so much, Allie, for sharing your thoughts and feelings.
Yes.
Thank you for listening to the Doula Debrief Podcast from Community Doula Alliance. It is our 1-year anniversary, and we are so excited to celebrate with you. You can show your support by visiting our Instagram page at communitydoulaalliance.com, clicking the link in our bio, where you will be sent to an online ordering form where you can purchase your very own Community Doula Alliance water bottle and pens. By making your purchase, you are in support of our vision to decolonize the birthwork profession and eliminate the gap in maternal-infant health disparities and inequities that disproportionately impact Black, Indigenous, and Latino-AX communities. Thank you so much for your support. We look forward to seeing you out in the community. Thank you so much for being with us today on the podcast. If you like what you heard, hit subscribe, send us a review, and listen to us wherever you listen to your podcasts.
And if you think you want to be a doula, you should check out Community Doula Alliance, the link in description, to learn more about how you can be a community-based doula and join this wonderful program in the Portland